Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. I am the founder, president, and chief listening officer here at our network. Today's show is Loving Longevity, and I don't know anyone who loves longevity as much as Annie Bush, the creator of this show. Let's welcome her.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. And yes, I do love longevity.
Well, you're looking beautiful as always and full of life and glow. So for people who want to know, what does Annie do? How does she help people? Please do share.
Well, what I do is I help you learn about the blueprint that you were born with, and that's called your genetics, your DNA. I've been in the health and wellness industry for over 10 years now, and I really wish I would have had access to this this information like 10 years ago, because with your own genetics, you will learn what your body was designed to eat, what exercises your body was designed to do, even how much caffeine can you drink during the day, and when do you have to stop to be able to sleep at night? What's causing your inflammation? How well are you detoxifying? How is your heart health? So I totally believe that when everybody was born, they should have come out of the hospital with your birth certificate and your genetics, your DNA report. And what is your DNA? Well, we'll make it very simple. We have over 23,000 genes, and you got half from your mother's side of the family and half from your father's side of the family, and they make you who you are. And they're proteins, they're amino acids, they're enzymes, and they react to every single thought that you have during the day, everything that you eat, and everything you drink. And they're like switches. So every time you eat something that's really, really fattening and inflammatory, all the little switches that increases your inflammation will turn on. And when you eat something really healthy, those switches will stay off. So all day long, your body is reacting to your environment, and it's called epigenetics. So this is what I do for people. I order your genetic report, and then I go through it with you. And I went through one with a gentleman this morning who's actually trying to gain weight. And what we realized is he is not absorbing his nutrients. So it is so freeing to learn what your body was designed to eat, because no longer are you looking on Facebook for those fad diets or what the celebrity is telling you to eat out of a box or whatever. You're just eating what your body was designed to absorb and process. And it's so smart and it's so customized, and you can just throw all the rest of the crap out the window and just stay in your own lane and do what's best for your body. I did my report months ago and totally had to change how I was eating. But everything about me now is better. Like my skin is better, my energy is better, my digestion is much better, because now I'm eating those foods that my body was designed to eat. So it's very, very individualized. And if you think about it, it's your blueprint. It's the foundation of how you were built, however old you are, how many years ago. You were divinely designed, and this is the blueprint for your design. So why not follow it?
Why not is right. We want to feel better. We want to live longer, but we don't want to live longer and be sick. We want to live longer and enjoy ourselves. So we were talking a little bit backstage about the fact that they're all different types of energies and modalities and healing. And it's what we really embrace, what we really believe that is going to help us feel better. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, and I was just listening to a podcast or a seminar by Dr. Bruce Lipton and another gentleman, and really, and Dr. Lara May is going to be our guest today, and she's both the traditional doctor and the functional side of medicine, and I believe taking the judgment out of it, whatever you believe is going to heal you will heal you. If you have, we go to it, well, we're trained, like growing up as kids, that you go to a doctor when you're sick. And then it makes the doctor the person that heals you, which kind of takes away your power. It really does. Unless you understand and you agree with what that doctor's saying. And then when you believe what the doctor tells you to do is going to heal you, then it will. And that's the placebo effect. There's so many double-blind studies and they always use double-blind studies, or they should, with a real substance and then a sugar pill. And it's how many times that the results come out the same, because the person who's taking the sugar pill believes they're taking the pill that will heal them. And it does. Because, and I've said this before, every cell in your body responds to every thought that you have. So if all my thoughts are, oh, I'm healed because I have this amazing pill that I'm taking, then yes, then that pill will heal you.
Thank you, Annie. I want to share, and then we'll bring out Dr. Lara May. I'm very excited to meet her. I wanted to share that through pretty much my whole adult life, I've had high blood pressure, and I was on two kinds of pills. And I just said to myself, I'm sick of this. I'm going to look at my diet, look at what it is I'm doing, and I'm not going to be taking the medicine anymore. I'm going to take my blood pressure religiously every day. And I do, and I have perfect blood pressure, no medication, because I really believed I would do it, and I changed my behavior. And there I am, no doctor required in terms of that. So
there you go. And, and we'll talk about this with Dr. Lara. Doctors are educators. They're our teachers. And we're going to learn a lot from Dr. Lara today. And it's a partnership, and it's that relationship that you have with them to learn more about, what will heal you, and that empowerment for you to decide.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to introduce Dr. Lara. I have to say this. Her bio is so impressive. I am not going to do justice with all that she has accomplished. It is truly an honor to meet someone who is, to your point, Annie, she is on the one side and on the other side of medicine. She sees it from both, I should say from healing. She sees it from both sides. She is an advanced practice clinical pharmacist and health coach. She's a doctor of pharmacy, a board certified pharmacotherapy specialist, and on. Reiki master, yoga master. Let's get her out here and hear what she has to say. Welcome to the show.
Doctor.
Oh no. Was it something we said?
No. I think she just had to unmute herself.
She actually, she's off the stage right now. Her device isn't connected, but she'll be back in a minute, I'm sure. So I'm really interested to find out from her which came first, the medical, the medical side, the healing side, and how did they come together?
Yeah, when I worked at I worked at a cognitive decline institute here in Sarasota for over a year, and the gentleman was a functional neurologist, and he talks about working side by side with neurologists who are the traditional trained doctors. And if everybody realizes where their lane is and respects what everybody does, then I think it works out fine. Because they're different, And, some people just think in certain terms and certain things make sense to them, and I think it's generational too. That if you just grew up going to a traditional doctor, that's what you do. But what we started seeing that, and I think we're starting to see that a lot, is people are realizing that a traditional general practitioner only goes so far. And because they don't learn nutrition in medical school, I think they get 3 hours. And if we truly believe that food is thy medicine, and if you only got 3 hours the whole time you were in medical school, you're not going to be the one that's going to be able to teach me what foods to eat. Right? So, I get hit by a bus. I need somebody that's going to put me back together again. But if I need to know how to eat to reduce my inflammation, that's going to be somebody totally different. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes perfect sense. And an analogy that comes up for me is I have my doctorate, and in all the education I've had, I've never been taught how to listen. There's no listening course. It's interesting, isn't it? So it's sort of a parallel to what you were saying about our health and about traditional doctors. And guess what? Dr. Lara May is back. Hopefully it wasn't anything we said in the intro. Let's welcome her to the program. Does anyone hear that beeping?
I do.
Oh.
All right, it's gone.
I mute because I muted Dr. Lara. Let's see. Okay. Are you there?
I am here.
Yes.
Yay!
It's all the energy here in this on this screen today.
Well, I just did a live stream of a meditation with a friend of mine, so it actually could be the energy.
Yeah, it probably is.
So, that's the most challenging technology I've had to an intro in a while.
Well, we're glad that you could make it. And what
Thank you.
Annie and I were just discussing is which came first, the chicken or the egg? Was Reiki and yoga and these holistic approaches, were they first, or what were the degrees first?
The degrees were first. I'm a very logical, structured minded type of person by nature. And it was only after my own health struggles that brought me to Reiki meditation and just looking for something that would help me feel better and not just a band-aid. So I call Western medicine band-aid medicine because unless it's, a surgery or something super drastic, most of Western medicine just gives you a symptomatic relief but doesn't get to the root cause. But functional medicine and energy medicine both really dive deep into that core issue of whatever the problem is to help you clear it, to help you heal it, to help you move forward.
Dr. Lara, thank you for sharing that. Can you give our audience a little bit of sense about energy? People may understand energy. I wake up, I've got a lot of energy, I'm tired. They understand you need gas to go into your car, for energy, for fuel. But what are these modalities based on energy? What is it really?
Well, really, it's actually just protons, electrons, and neutrons, the aspects that make up the anatomy of a cell and an atom. And the reason it works, so this is sort of bringing the woo-woo to the science, and this is one of the things I love to do is help people understand that the woo-woo is actually backed by science. So energy is it is something that is within in all of us. It is ubiquitous. It can neither be like matter, can neither be created nor destroyed. So when we say we have cleared something or healed something from our body, we have transmuted that energy and really released it into a different form back out into the universe. So when we experience a trauma or a low vibing emotion. I don't like to use the word negative because all emotions are just that. They're just emotions. There's no, positive or negative ones. There's some that feel good and some that don't feel good. But when we resist them or when we push them down or don't feel them or don't, really feel through the full experience, then we store it in our body, we store it in our energetic field. And then that becomes over time density because we have taken something that has a certain vibration and we've shoved it down and we've tried to make it stop vibrating in the way that it's vibrating in an effort to control it, in an effort to not feel it, in order to feel better. And then over time, that can become a source or a root cause of disease, of imbalance, of inflammation. And so we have different ways of going about that. We have the physical side of things, which is food and supplements, and in some cases, medication or even surgery. And then there's the other side of it with meditation, mindfulness, intention, and really using the light and your own power of creation to come in and move that energy around, because it was your will and intention that stored it there, that stopped it, that stuffed it somewhere. So it's also the power of your intention to release it and transmute it and move forward from it. Did that answer your question?
Yes, yes, it did.
Okay.
I have about 100 more, but I want to, Annie, I'll go over to you.
So with the program Love and Longevity. So we had someone, I'm gonna hypothetical, 50-year-old female that her entire life she's just been going to a traditional medical doctor.
Mhm.
And let's say she has the fatigue, maybe going into menopause, the aches and pains, fibromyalgia, whatever, and she's not getting relief from a traditional doctor. How
Mhm.
would you explain to her and the rest of our audience what a functional or an integrative doctor is?
So, if that person came to me, one of the first places I would start is with a full hormone and thyroid and cortisol panel, because so many of, both with autoimmune, which fibromyalgia is classified as an autoimmune condition, and with menopause, it's all connected and it's all related back to that cascade and that the connection of all of those hormones and how they're working in our body and cycling through. So if your cortisol is been completely exhausted, then you don't have, your body literally doesn't have the tools to make that bump. When we first wake up in the morning, our cortisol bumps up, and that's actually what helps us feel awake and wake up out of sleep. But if you don't have that, then it's hard to get out of bed. And then once you're out of bed, you need caffeine to exist through the day, or you are absolutely just debilitated with fatigue and really, can't function. And it is debilitating. And then from there, then that also, influences your estrogen production, your testosterone production, your pregnenolone, your progestin, your DHEA, all of these hormones and chemicals that work as a cascade together to really, they're there to help us feel fantastic and feel vibrant and wonderful in our bodies. But when they get out of whack and they get out of balance or completely depleted, this is where the trouble and the symptoms come in. And so, and I've been there myself. I've been healing myself through adrenal fatigue for the last 2 years, and I'm finally starting to just come out of it with a lot of help from my own team of practitioners. And I encourage everyone out there to have a team. So none of us can do it all. And I think it's unfair for us to put that onus on a physician and expect them to be able to do it all as well. And this is just how our society and our culture has set up over the years. But it's stressful to them. I know, because I work with them on a daily basis. But, it also, sets us up for unrealistic expectations. And so we should have a team. We should have a massage therapist. We should have an acupuncturist. We should have, a PCP, a primary care physician, and then maybe also an integrative or an herbalist, someone that can look at our bodies in a different way and from a different perspective. And so I love the physicians that I work with. They're fantastic people and practitioners. But Western medicine just sets you up to look at the body in a certain way, and functional medicine sets you up to look at it from a root cause perspective. So the other things that functional medicine physicians or practitioners, because we're not all physicians, we're pharmacists, we're acupuncturists, we're herbalists. You can be a functional medicine practitioner and have a specialty and come from a variety of modalities. And that's one of the things I love about it too, is it's so valuable, all that variety of perspective. It really can, maybe one practitioner will see the imbalance from a different angle, and that'll be the one that really finally hits it home for that client or that patient. So, there's also micronutrient levels in the body that we can look at. There are toxic burden levels that we can look at in the body. There are detox pathways that we look at in the body. So, all of these things that functional medicine looks at to find the root cause, Western medicine, traditional medicine, they are not educated to use those tools. It's not that they don't have them available, but it's just not part of the curriculum in their education. And so when they get out and practice, that's not their go-to and that's not what they default back to. So a lot of times I know even for myself going through my journey, I really had to push to get a full thyroid panel. And even that wasn't full. Like their definition of full was a TSH and maybe a T4. But a full thyroid panel is a T3, a T4, a TSH, some antibodies to see if
Yep.
you do have Hashimoto's. So the definition of full is also different if you're, looking at Western medicine versus functional medicine.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm taking all that in. That's
Yeah,
so
I know. I'm like, I can keep going, but I feel like I should pause.
that's great. Thank you. So for the person out there, person or persons whom are living a good life, they're getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, doing all the things we're supposed to do, and then they end up getting something. And it's kind of like, well, why me? I did all the right things. There's that scenario. And then there's a scenario of the people who have real illness, real issues. They're in the hospital right there at this moment, and they think, okay, maybe if I started meditating and practicing Reiki and I did some yoga here, that would save me. Either of those two scenarios, are they viable? Or are they true scenarios, or it has nothing, or they're not even legitimate because of our DNA?
Oh, I know they're absolutely legitimate.
Mhm.
And I would say probably one of the things that we discount the most is our stress level. I would
Mhm.
say
Yep.
probably the most underlying ubiquitous theme, especially for Westerners, Americans, is stress. And we're so used to being stressed that most of us don't consider ourselves stressed unless we're having a full-blown panic attack. And I know because I was one of those people. And
Wow.
that's something that I am still learning to, instead of packing my day full of all the things, giving myself space to, I meditate every day, but that's something that I schedule for myself. So how about, allowing time for spontaneity throughout your day instead of everything's back to back to back to back, including your workout, your meditation, absolutely. I think that, when we are stressed, and again, even if we don't realize it, it's causing inflammation in our body. It's causing imbalances, which then can lead to infections, like you brought up. If someone's in the hospital with, let's say, a UTI that turns into pyelo, so a kidney infection, a lot of times those bugs that cause that are bugs that naturally live in our body and they're supposed to be there. But the reason that they've caused the infection is because the other bacteria and microbes that keep them at bay and keep them in that fine balance that we call our microbiome has gotten out of whack because of, it could be stress, it could be food. Usually it's a combination of both. Environment, are we exposed to toxic things, to inflammatory things? Yes. I mean, who isn't, especially living in a Western world? And so that allows that bacteria to grow out of control, cause the infection. We're already run down. So all of our natural mechanisms to fight it, they do what they're supposed to, they just can't do enough. And so then you end up in the hospital, possibly with pyelonephritis, possibly with sepsis, depending on how bad it is. And then, you're getting antibiotics and a whole slew of other things. So yes, absolutely. It is completely valid. And I'll say my take on DNA is very much an epigenetic take.
Mhm.
For the hot second that I was on earlier, I heard you guys talking about Bruce Lipton, And I love his research and his work, and it is definitely part of what drew me into this side of medicine is knowing that, oh, it's not predetermined by our genes. Just because our mom, dad, grandmother, whoever in our family had heart disease, diabetes, whatever it is, unless you're a type 1, which is a genetic anomaly that is carried through the genes, y- it is not predetermined that you get diabetes. Just because you think
Right.
diabetes runs in my family, let's look at our environment. And I'm from the South, so I trust me, I know what, a good Southern diet looks like and what it can do to the body. Again, like we can talk about, more cultural things and ancestral things rather than genetics. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I had to discuss, I had a client this morning and basically explaining to him that every cell in your body listens to every thought that you have. So when you have the
Mhm.
positive, and it's explaining to him epigenetics that way
Mhm.
and the influence of what you eat and what you drink. But even from a functional standpoint, once you identify, yes, I'm stressed, which we don't usually recognize because it's become our new normal,
Mhm.
functional or integrative medicine then takes it even further upstream, because then this is where we get into the energy fields as to what is the root cause of that stress, because until we get to that, then we can't relieve the stress.
Right. And I will say that it's because I am a big fan of looking into the genes and the genetics as well. Like, what SNPs do we have that could predispose us to not, I talked about a little bit about those detox pathways earlier,
Mhm.
so it's a valuable information to know. And because it can also tell you, oh, my body has this tendency to not be able to get rid of toxins, to break them down because of this genetic SNP. But that means that I need to do these other things like sweating a lot. So saunaing, hot yoga, whatever it is to, because our skin is one of our biggest, it is the biggest detox organ that we have. So sweating is a fantastic way to bypass the liver and get the toxins out of our body and to give that liver a break. And a lot of times that liver gets overloaded because of everything that it's trying to do for us. The liver is probably the one of the most fantastic organs in the body for what it does for the body and how it helps us maintain homeostasis, which is that state of being in balance. And so the thoughts, yes, they definitely come in when you're constantly thinking, "Oh man, I'm tired," or there's a saying of FML. I won't say the F word, but my life. Even just that little saying, and it's trendy, but what does it really mean? And what are you really telling your brain and your body when you say that? Or when you say, like, "Oh, I'd rather die than go do whatever this is over here." These words are really important. So it's important to be aware of them. And I think one of the things that's so valuable that a lot of coaches do across the spectrum are to bring awareness to the words and the thoughts that we're thinking and teaching and really bringing awareness, this whole new awakening to how powerful our thoughts and our words are, and how when we get consistent with our words, our thoughts, and our intentions, that really can change our life in as big of an impact as healing things like cancer, like fibromyalgia, like MS. I have had guest upon guest on my show of how they healed themselves without Western medicine, with the power of their thoughts, their thinking, their mind, and then bringing that physical of supportive diet, movement in different ways, and those things. So that's why I do what I do, because it's important that we start to merge the physical with the mind and the energetic side, because we are energetic creator beings. You can't deny it. We're made up of the same thing that the stars are made up of. We're made up of, the same thing that all the plants and the trees and the animals and everything else is made up of on this, so we're all connected. We're all made of the same stuff. So we have to start really acknowledging that and working in that direction with ourselves, with our body, with our minds, and with our spirits to really create wellness. It's not just about, like you said earlier, taking a blood pressure pill for your blood pressure and then like, oh, my blood pressure is fine because I take a pill for it. What if you could really heal your high blood pressure without the pill just by setting an intention and being aware of what's happening in your body when you think certain thoughts or when you do certain things or when you're around certain people or environments? It's really powerful.
Woo!
Hey, absolutely. I agree with that. I do believe the power of our thoughts and our mind really can make a difference. And I use that in my own life. I have 3 autoimmune diseases and they're all in remission. And they're in remission because I told them they were going in remission. I was like, no,
Right.
that's it. I'm not going to the doctor. I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. I'm going to change the way I think, change the way I'm eating, and have a better, mindset. And it really does work.
Yes. Yes. You just have to decide. A teacher told me that a long time ago. The power of your decision, it can be really what changes your life. Are you going to decide that you want to feel good? And that's really one of the things that turned my life around is I decided that I was going to be more connected to feeling good than anything else. That helped me put up healthy boundaries and start saying no to people and things and even people that I love that were just constantly, asking, asking, asking. I'm sure, mothers can, vibrate with this too, like constantly like we're always giving, 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 but when are we receiving, receiving, receiving? And so again, when we make that priority to feel better, to feel good above anything else, then that puts into perspective, oh, what am I going to eat today? Even if I have that craving for, like for me, I have my IBS is in remission also, thank goodness, yay. But also another autoimmune condition. But if I have a craving for, I don't ever have cravings for bread, but just let's say that I do because I work with a lot of clients that love their bread, and I get it. It's a thing. I like chocolate. We all have our thing. But, for me, I think the reason I don't crave it and don't want it anymore is because I know if I eat it, I'm not going to feel good. And so, again, once I made that decision, I want to feel good no matter what. Then I was able to prioritize yoga over my HIIT training, knowing they're both beneficial, but maybe the yoga is better for my adrenal glands today. Or, the bread versus not the bread, the cheese versus no cheese at all, or finding like a goat product cheese that my body can tolerate. Because I also genetically am aligned with not tolerating dairy well. So, again, it's all these tools that we bring together for ourselves that really help us create a journey towards wellness. Again, it's not just one thing, it's not one doctor or one practitioner. It's all the things. And we're so lucky to exist on a planet right now that has all this awareness and has all these resources of going to a practitioner that is an expert in genetics and really having them, like get down nitty gritty and give them some enlightenment and some awareness about what's going on. But then how does that escalate out to the macro, like you said earlier? So going from micro to macro, going from super teeny tiny to what is really implementable in our lives and what is that going to look like for me as the patient?
Yeah, the client that I saw this morning, it very quiet gentleman, but once he turned the news on, he would like yell and scream at the television, and we had a conversation about what that was doing to his body by
Mhm.
watching the news and yelling at the TV.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
as far as his stress levels and his dopamine and whatnot, and his detoxification pathways. The question that is always difficult, I think is difficult to answer for people, is when we tell people that you can heal yourself with your thoughts, but you also create disease with your thoughts. And
Mhm.
people will say, why would I cause disease in my own body? Why would I do that? I don't want to do that. How are they doing it subconsciously?
Well, it's unconscious. It's completely unconscious. None
Right.
of us consciously create disease on purpose. However, it's a defense mechanism and it starts when we're really, really young. when we are maybe being bullied in school or traumatized by teachers or events that are happening in school or in church or whatever, and we don't talk about them, or maybe we try to, but we're told not to talk about them, that's when it starts, is we start internalizing. And again, it's those experiences, emotions, thoughts, all the things, again, starting so young that we don't have the tools, we don't know what to do with them, and then we're told not to talk about them, don't tell people about that, don't complain, don't cry, all of the things that we internalize and we start shoving it down and we don't learn how to deal with it. And so this is what creates, so disease is not created overnight like that, like turning on a light bulb. It's not. It's many, many years of and just a lot of emotions and a lot of experiences that are unprocessed. And fantastically enough, in order to heal them, to get them out of your body, you don't have to go through all that stuff, all that trauma, all that negativity. All you have to do is be willing to tune in to where you've been storing it, where it's stored in your body, your energetic field, and be willing to release it. And there can be, a little bit of awareness of timeframes, people, places, things, but there's no need on the planet to go through the whole thing again,
Mm.
because oftentimes that can be re-triggering and re-traumatizing, which is actually really destructive. So always I suggest work with a practitioner that, can guide you through, because this isn't something that you want to do on your own either. I think one of the things that also is carrying this culture that we're in now forward is disconnection. We're disconnected through social media, even though it's an avenue that has brought us connection throughout the world. Ironically enough, it's still disconnecting us from that person to person human contact. And we feel this disconnect and we don't know what to do with it. And so then we go into the food, the alcohol, the drugs, the Netflix, the shopping, the whatever it is, the news. I think a lot of people feel connection through watching the news, even though it's just a stream of everything that's not good about the world right now, unfortunately. So I would definitely advise people to minimize, if not completely eliminate, watching the news. Um, so yeah, does that answer your question? I feel like I started rambling.
No, no, that's exactly it. Because people tend to think, well, I would never cause disease in my body. Well, you didn't consciously, but like
Right, but
you,
there yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but that's why I wanted to bring this forward. There is an element of taking responsibility. And again, even though we were children and we weren't given the tools, now we're adults and now we have awareness. So now it's time for us to take responsibility for what the role we played, for how we managed our own energetic fields, our emotions, our role in certain, environments or relationships or situations. But that taking responsibility also means that you have the power to change it. And that's the most fantastic part. So this is not about judgment. It's not about beating up on yourself. Absolutely not. This is about seeing yourself and everyone around you and all the situations around you with compassion, with acceptance, with love. And this doesn't mean like saying that whatever happened was okay. You never have to say that. But like seeing that in like a situation of abuse, abusers were abused at some point. So they are people that hurt people are hurt people. You know what I mean? Like they're broken, they don't have the tools, and they're really unaware of how they treat other people and the impact that has. So that is a compassionate perspective. That's not a blaming perspective. That's not a victimization perspective. So it's really a time for all of us to, um, again, like take responsibility, but from an empowerment perspective. And and that's also, I think, something new for a lot of us to get used to. And that's okay. It's a journey, it's a process, but that's really, I think, where we're moving towards, and what we'll have to do more and more to make progress and to get us out of this cycle of just, humanity and the war and the blame game, the politics, all that stuff. That's like old, old cycle stuff.
Yeah, so we don't want to go there. That is for sure.
Yeah.
So there's so much more that I'd love to discuss with you. Unfortunately, we're at the end of the show already, so I hope you'll come back.
Yes, absolutely. And I have the technology set up now.
And it would be fun if you led us through a meditation. Just putting you on the spot for that.
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah. How much time? So I know my boundary.
Let's see if you want to do it the next time or this time.
Do we have time this time?
Yeah, we have time. The next show starts in less than 10 minutes. So can you do about 3
Okay.
minutes?
Yeah, we'll do 3 minutes.
Okay.
That'll be
All
powerful and
right.
perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So everyone, if you can, close your eyes, come to a comfortable seat if you're able. If you're not able, then you can set the intention to receive this healing and this relaxation in the most divine and perfect way possible for you. And just breathe easily and deeply and gently through your nose, feeling your belly expand, and exhale in a way that feels good for you, whether it's through your mouth or through your nose. Inhale and exhale. We call in our higher selves. We call in our ancestors, our guides, our angels to surround us now. We ask that we be opened up to receive the love and support from the universe in all the ways that will dazzle us and delight us and bring us to healing and wellness. We ask to be open to receiving. We ask to be open to being able to see and know the truth. So when we're presented with a diagnosis or a choice or an ultimatum, what would it take for us to be able to really tune into that energy of truth and know and feel that vibration within ourselves, within our hearts? And we can take our energy up to connect with the great central sun, feeling the warmth and the golden glow of the sun pour down on us and throughout all of our cells, opening us up, expanding our energy, clearing out all that no longer serves us easily and effortlessly, just allowing that energy to pour in and around us from all directions. And it is from this expanded and connected place that you bring in truth, that you vibrate with truth, and that you are open to receiving guidance. You're open to taking those next steps in your life, to no longer hesitating, but taking action for yourself on behalf of yourself. Because when we are fulfilled, when we're expanded, when we're connected, and we're able to really step forward as our true soul selves, then we're also able to serve those around us, serve our families, be there for our families, be there as a leader in the workplace, a leader in your community. We can only pour from a cup that is full. So we just ask to receive all the energy that we need now to fill in anywhere and everywhere that needs just a little bit more support today. Maybe you feel that energy coming into your low back. Maybe you feel that energy coming into a shoulder or a neck. Let's bring that energy into our feet and just allow it to expand our feet chakras. 5 feet around us, 10 feet around us, 20 feet around us, providing that beautiful expanded platform of support. That's our energy. We are supported by Mother Earth. We're supported by our higher selves and our spirit guide team, but we are also supported by ourselves with our intention, with your own power of your creativity, your divine soul self. You have this power. It's time that we awaken and accept it and step back into it now. And we thank you all for being here today. Thank you for guides and angels and all of your souls and spirits that showed up today. And we bring the energy back into your body and bring you back into the room that you're in. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
so welcome.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Ah, that was beautiful. Just needed that. So glad you mentioned feet. My feet are always screaming from standing, and they thank you.
Yes. I feel like we forget about that area a lot. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Dr. Lara, how can people reach out to you, and who would you like to connect with you?
I can be reached at drlaramay.com or at Dr. Lara May on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram. I'm on a lot of them. And I love to work with anyone that's ready to step into their new life of wellness. Anyone that is open to implementing change and looking for new creative ways to create that change and wellness in their lives, whether it's with a functional medicine consult or an energetic, intuitive consult, or maybe you're looking for a combination of the two. So I just love helping people that find me and that are ready to take those next steps.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, Doctor. Thank you so much. And
Oh,
please
thank
do
you
come
so
back
much
and
for
see
having
us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for bringing her to the platform, Annie.
Oh, that meditation was amazing.
Yes, it was fabulous. How do people reach out to you?
The easiest way to get in touch with me is just by email. And the name of my company is Your Total Body LLC. So you can reach me by email at yourtotalbody@yahoo.com. And I really do encourage everyone to get their genetics done, to know, where your starting point is, and then know, like how Dr. Lara and what we were all talking about is what we're doing that is influencing our genes and how our genes are responding. Once you know how you were designed, you'll know what you're eating that may be aggravating that's causing that inflammation, or what movement you're doing that you weren't designed to do, those epigenetic factors that we're talking about, and maybe how we're going to have to maybe change the way we think, the way we feel, what programs we're watching on television, and how they're affecting your genetics that are affecting your optimal health.
Great way to close out this show, Annie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes. Let's do this again.
For sure. You know where you'll find me.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye. Thank you, everyone, whether you're watching on the live or listening on the live or the replay. We're just so glad that you're here. Our next show, which is the last show for the week, is coming up, and that's presenting Pet Psychic Amina. And on our show, we talk all about coexistence, sustainability, and other topics you might think, what does that have to do with being a pet psychic? Well, these are things that Amina is really passionate about, as am I. So I hope you'll join us. Stay wherever you are. We'll be coming back shortly. And as I close out the show, I want to play a music video that is to honor a Northern Ireland singer-songwriter. He's a session musician, and his name is Richard Murray. Let's take a look at this wonderful clip.
SUVs all in a line, sun beating down, they shine so fine. Kids on the field, they play and play till it's time to go.